I was sick for the entire first month of 2023, January, so I just now saw Missing, because I was missing.
Hello, Adam Ryan Donato.
Hello, welcome back to another Hard Review, and I'm here to talk about Missing. This is a sequel to Searching, which I think is BS. Searching is a really fantastic movie. I really love that. I'm a big fan of John Cho, and I'm a big fan of all of these like computer movies because I think they're really interesting. A new way of showing a story, but it's not really so new anymore because Unfriended was almost a decade ago now. And for all its cheese, I really do enjoy Unfriended. And even Unfriended Dark Web Profile was pretty enjoyable, but nothing has come close to how good I think that Searching is. This is a sequel to Searching. It's about a young girl. I think she just turned 18 or something like that. Her mother is a single mom who goes on vacation with her boyfriend and leaving our main girl here at home alone, and she has parties and friends over and alcohol, and she spends money on stuff that's not really responsible. And when her mom is supposed to come home, she shows up to go pick her up with a little sign, and her mom does not show up. She's missing. So now she's got to do little investigative stuff on the internet to find out where her mom is and what's going on. This is directed by the editors of Searching, which I thought was probably the best part because it does feel very like a lot of energy. Lots going on screen. It was really visually interesting. Sometimes it's a bit too much, but specifically towards the beginning, I felt like they really had a good grasp and understanding of social media and how the internet works, because sometimes these movies are so bad you're like, oh my god, Andrew Garfield, nobody uses Bing. I thought the performances were fine. I'm not really familiar with the star of this movie. I think she's in Euphoria and I don't watch that. That was all okay. I just wasn't really into this movie. Everyone had a much higher Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, that Rotten Tomatoes scores in like the 80s, and all my mutuals on Letterboxd had this at like at least a 3.5 out of 5, if not like a 4. Someone gave it a 5. I was there pretty much until like the twist, and then the twist really dropped everything off for me because it was just so outlandish and silly. And I mean, obviously movies like this are, but this kind of felt like a melodramatic, like soap opera type thing. My favorite part about this movie is there's a character named Javier. She uses, I think it's called Go Ninja over in Colombia, where it's basically like a task rabbit type thing where you can hire someone to do things for you, I guess. She hires like the cheapest guy possible. It's like $8 an hour. Javier. She calls him Javi throughout the movie. And I mean throughout the movie, because you think that this is like just gonna be a short thing because she really needs to get the security footage from the hotel, right? And he goes there and he ends up getting information from one of the cleaning ladies, and then she sends him to go to every single hardware store, and then finally finds out exactly where they went and exactly what they bought, and you're like, okay, good, you're probably done. Spoilers for Missing. If you haven't seen it by now, also, it's like a 3 out of 5 if you are someone doesn't want to hear the spoilers. 3 out of 5. Fine movie. It was okay. It just didn't really work for me, and I don't really think it's worth anyone going out of their way to go seeing it. But if you think this is the kind of movie you would like, specifically if you're one of those people who watches like true crime things, little investigative stuff, you like to think that you're good at finding things on the internet, you know, you might enjoy this. But yeah, spoilers. Eventually, we find out that this girl's mother was never in Colombia, and they swapped her in the car on the Uber on the way to the airport. There was an actress that was hired to be with this girl's mother's boyfriend in Colombia and do all this stuff, and it's this big, huge, like, televised problem, you know, oh, she's missing, and we gotta find this guy, he's like criminal number 1. And once you find out that her mom was never in Colombia, you're like, all right, Javi, what are you doing in this story still? Like, we don't need anything in Colombia anymore. We already figured out, especially after the boyfriend dies, you're like, okay, so why is Javi still here? Because she has this like whole relationship with him, and they have like deep talks. And I understand you want to give your main character opportunities to like be vulnerable and talk about how they're feeling, especially in a movie like this where you can't really like have like scenes where they A camera and B camera, you know? I mean, there's easy ways to communicate through social media and FaceTime and stuff like that, which she WhatsApps him throughout the movie, but I just felt like it was dragged on a little bit too long, that Javier came on set and they were like, okay, this guy's good. We need to find a way to get him in more of this movie. Kind of like Oscar Isaac in The Force Awakens. They're like, oh, no. Not just 15 minutes. We gotta extend this guy. He's just there and he's cool, I guess. It's just weird to see this like older man having this like relationship with this freshly 18-year-old girl, and there's nothing like creepy or weird about it or anything, but it's just like, why are you still here, man? Yeah, the twist ends up being that her dad that's dead was actually alive, and the only reason why her mother has things with like changing her identity is because she had to get away from this abusive guy because he only went to jail for a year, because that's how long you go for abuse or whatever they said in the movie. I don't really care. But he went to the same jail as her mom's new boyfriend. They come up with an idea for kidnapping the mom. He pays the mom's boyfriend for doing all this, and it's all in an effort just to get her locked into this like shed in his home in the middle of nowhere. Well, they said it was a trip, but it seems like it's just like his home. I don't know. I don't really care. This movie was dumb. Once we got to that point, I was just like, I don't really care about all this. Like, it's sad. Yeah, like it's really sad when she sees her dad, how hard it is for her to talk to him. But then once he becomes like the villain, he's just like, I hate you, and I'm gonna keep you kidnapped and locked you in my basement, and this is gonna be a whole problem. But yeah, it's fine. Like, there's like a character arc, you know, she learns to appreciate her mom and her life and stuff like that. Like, she texts her mom, love you, at the end, where at the beginning, her mom said, love you, and she just thumbs up the message. Which, like, little stuff like that, you know, like understanding text lingo, that goes a long way for a movie like this feeling like credible and realistic. Good on this movie. It was fine. 3 out of 5. I was really close to being like, screw you guys, at the 2. I'm just being mean. It's probably a low end 3 out of 5, but don't see it. I mean, it's barely out in theaters anymore. Watch this on a computer, maybe. See if that changes up the experience. I don't know. Watching it in theater is always funny because it's like the quietest of quiet movies. So like people are going to be so loud in it. Watching it on a computer, you know, especially if you leave it paused there and you're like, oh, let me try to do something on my computer. What's your favorite computer movie? Is it Searching? It's Searching. Thank you very much for watching this. Like, comment, subscribe, and be safe on the internet, I guess.